Hello and welcome to the OK VetWorks Learning. Today I've got with me a couple of special guests so we can talk about franchising. So Franchise 101 is a new series of classes we're actually producing for you guys. So let me introduce our guest speakers, our experts in this area. First of all, we have Phil Nichols, and then we have Dave Evans. They're both from Exxon, and they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, a little bit, just get straight into the class and tell you a little bit about franchising.
Go ahead, Dave.
Great. So I did 23 years in the Air Force, flew all over the world with a lot of you, 17 deployments, and I retired in 2013 and started working with small businesses to help them grow. Phil and I partnered in 2016 to build Exxon, and we have been helping business owners and veteran business owners for the last 7 years together.
Yeah, and I'm a veteran as well, proud Air Force veteran, a special operator in the world's greatest Air Force, the United States Air Force. And real passionate about helping veterans, our fellow brothers and sisters, as they make that transition from active duty to the private sector. And franchising for many is a great solution. So we're going to hopefully share some ideas with you that will help you avoid some pitfalls, give you some things to look for, and just kind of the process to follow as you're exploring all those options.
And the one thing I'd like to say about this is that franchises are a perfect fit for members of the military because we were trained on systems, and a franchise is basically a system to start your own business.
Yeah.
So to get us started today, we're going to talk about the top 5 things you should consider before purchasing a franchise. So again, I want to turn it back over to these guys. They're the subject matter experts. I'm just the face on the camera in between them.
He's the arm candy for the meeting.
I wouldn't go that far.
Always the arm candy. Well, I'll jump in. I think, we've got 5 things listed here, and I'm going to go. These are in no particular order, but I'm going to start with actually go backwards, Dave, because that way it gives us a potential to mess this up. I'm going to make it more difficult than it needs to be.
We like that, right?
To me, you got to validate the franchise. And what I mean by that is you need to speak to franchisees from markets similar to the one you're wanting to be in to really evaluate what is the training really like? What is the support really like? What is the marketing really like? All franchises are going to tell you they have great training, great support, great marketing. They're all going to tell you that. The validation process is where you get to roll up the sleeves and really talk to existing franchisees. That's, to me, the most critical thing. Again, it's like anything else in the world. There's great franchisors and there's franchisors that need improvement, okay? We always talk about the big franchise everybody knows about, McDonald's and Subways and all these.
Your favorite Chick-fil-A?
Oh, boy. Anyway, Popeyes. There you go.
Chick-fil-A is amazing. As a matter of fact, I cheated on my dad, had Chick-fil-A yesterday. Just for the
almost as good as Popeyes.
Popeyes is pretty good.
But anyway, but you got to do those validation calls and take that part of the process extremely serious.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the second thing, that you need to think about is market fit.
Yep.
We're having fun here in Guthrie, Oklahoma with a new coffee shop that just popped up. I'm not sure they did a good market assessment.
I can guarantee you they didn't.
but it's really, really important to understand your location, traffic, market fit. And those are questions you need to ask the franchise owner that you're buying the franchise from. But more importantly, you need to do your own research and walk around town and kind of get a feel for how it's going to fit in your community. Because some communities will support new franchises better than others. But more importantly, traffic flow, where the vehicles are going in the morning, what direction they're going is really, really important depending on what your business is.
Yeah. And I think, remember common sense, which is really what Dave's talking about here. Get out, talk to the locals, trust but inspect. We've all been taught that over the years. I trust, but I'm still gonna verify. Trust and verify, right? But you got to talk to the people that are potentially going to be your customers and find out, hey, do you need another one of these? We're in a community of about 11,000 people, and we've got 4 coffee shops. Now all 3 of them there's 3 of them doing wonderful. But I think we may have a capacity issue on coffee shops. But that's just one example. I think the other thing is really dive into the franchise disclosure documents your FDDs and all your items, your item 7s, your item 19s, there's all these different filings that are really built there to help the franchisee make a good, sound decision. Okay. And that's where, and I know we're gonna have another segment on working with consultants and brokers to help you through this process, which can be great things to do. You just got to make sure you're working with the right brokers and consultants. But, find somebody that understands it, that can be your advocate, that can help, that doesn't have any vested interest one way or the other, that can help you find the right franchise and help you do that due diligence. Extremely important.
Extremely important. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah.
So market fit, number 2. The third one we're going to talk about is success rate. Success begets success. And if you're looking at a franchise, I would find out how the other franchise owners are doing. And I had a good friend that's got a franchise here, a veteran down in Oklahoma City. And some of the other franchise owners are people we knew before that were successful in the military and are hugely successful in this particular franchise. So find those veterans that you may know that have bought it and get their feedback. See how they're really doing. See how hard it really is. See how much time they're really spending.
What I will tell you is this, even the greatest franchises out there, and we have our opinion on who those are. Different segment, we'll share some kind of maybe like our top 10 current franchises that we think are doing great. And I think that'd be a good thing to share with people. But no matter what it is, it's hard work.
100%.
And that's something that everybody needs to understand. This isn't okay, I bought my franchise, now millions of dollars are going to come into me. You've got to go do the work. You've got to go do the work. And I think we spend a lot of time when we're consulting potential franchisees or working with franchisors, where Dave and I are helping launch a new franchise that's actually an Oklahoma-based franchise. And Dave has worked with a food truck franchise in the past, just at the franchisor level. But you got to remember, all franchises, before they became available for you to buy potentially and become a franchisee, they were somebody's independent business. And they built it, and they fine-tuned it, and they created what they believe is a success pattern and process. And then that's what you're paying for, which to me leads to another thing, Dave, which is franchise fees and ongoing cost. It doesn't matter if a franchise, I hear this from people say, well, I don't want to spend more than $25,000. Well, okay. Well, what if there's not a good franchise that fits you for $25,000? But what if there's a perfect franchise that fits you that costs $50,000? I mean, there's price and there's cost, right? Yes, everybody has a budget. You've got to work within those budgets. You've got to understand what your cost layout's going to be. Because remember, the franchise fee and the ongoing royalties is just a part of it. I mean, you've got labor costs, you've got insurance costs, you've got all these costs. So, it's more than just the franchise fee. And that's a mistake I see a lot of people make also, is they don't have enough capital left over after they pay the franchise fee to effectively build and run their business.
Well,
I mean, you've got to stay focused on those things.
And I think this is really important. Financial responsibility is important. You need to figure out what you can afford and make a sensible decision.
Yeah.
Even, if you find a $70,000 franchise or $50,000 franchise, it's the right fit, but you can't afford it and keep the cash flow going. That's something you need to consider before you step into that arena. Many, many times people get the franchise, pay the franchise fee, and then run out of cash because they don't understand the importance of managing your cash flow and taking care of people when times are not as good as they were before, basically.
Well, and one thing I'd tell you too is we see more and more people doing this too. People are partnering to buy franchises. Yep. And there's a lot of folks that are looking at the franchise model. A lot of veterans do this as an investment strategy going forward as well. They're looking for those more passive type, franchises where they don't have to be actively involved in the day-to-day running of the business, but it's passive income for them. So there's franchises for all types. It doesn't matter what the industry is, doesn't matter what the model it is, whether it's owner operator, executive, semi-passive, passive, it doesn't matter. Okay. Or, absentee or semi-absentee. It doesn't matter. What matters is you got to find the right business that fits you and what you're wanting to do.
The great news is a lot of franchises give veterans discounts.
Big time.
That's discounts. The final thing on franchising. Then the last thing we're going to talk about, it's the paperwork, right? The franchise agreement. And These agreements are complicated. You need to have experts with you to go through the agreement. I would encourage you to have an attorney review the agreement to make sure you understand exactly what you're signing and exactly what's going to happen in the agreement throughout the process.
100% of the time, you should have somebody review the agreement that's a professional advisor that understands these things.
Yep.
Now, I will warn you, just because they say they're an attorney doesn't mean they understand these things. Okay. So there's all kinds of specialists out there. Be very, very careful. Don't go, you got to,
Don't use a divorce.
well, if you got a buddy that does divorces and vehicle accidents, they probably don't understand the franchise space.
Entirely different.
So we need to make sure, if you have questions about that through Darren and us, we can point you in the right direction with franchise attorneys. That's what they do, and they can help you with that. But I think there's, the big thing that I want to get across, I know Dave and Darren does as well, is don't be in a hurry. If somebody's pushing you or trying to rush the process, get away from those people. Okay. This is a huge decision. Go at your pace and move forward only when you're comfortable and ready to move to the next step. There's plenty of great franchises out there. We obviously believe in the model for many people. It's not for everybody. We have clients that are in what we call traditional brick and mortar businesses, and we have clients that are in the franchise space. But you've got to walk it out. But if it's a good fit, it's a fabulous model and can lead you to years and years and years of a really enjoyable profession as a business owner and a very fruitful experience as well financially.
That's fact. So that's the 5 things you should, let's try that again. That's the 5 things you should consider before purchasing a franchise. In our next discussion, we're going to talk about why franchises are a perfect fit for military members. What do you think, Darren? Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah, I think that's a good, important question is, how does it fit for a military personnel or their families to come in and take over a franchise or buy a franchise or expand into franchising? Because there's so many things, attributes that go into that, being prior military, the experiences that are there, the trainings that are there, they're so important when it comes to franchising. So I think that'll be a great class to have and talk about that a little bit more on that. Anything else to add today? Otherwise, I'm going to make an announcement.
Make an announcement.
Okay, I want to make an announcement. Because of this franchising class, we're going to give away, or they're going to give away a franchise.
Come on now.
So there is a way for you to get involved in that, and we'll have more details coming later. But first thing is there is a franchise assessment that you need to fill out online through their website for that, and that would be at
exongroup.com.
It's a very simple survey to go through. Fill that out, get on that survey. They'll reach back out to you to make sure what's all going on and see which way may fit you best, like we talked about. If it doesn't fit you, you probably don't want to get into it. I mean, I don't want to set you into a situation that says, hey, I want to be an aquatic fish dealer franchise, and you hate seafood.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No, it's probably not the area you want to be in. So go through that assessment, and coming up very, very soon, we're going to give the very first franchise away. So you want to be tuned into that and ready for that when it comes up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anything else?
Nope. Look forward to talking to you guys in our next segment.
We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.